Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, as you guys can see, I'm on my rollers, just getting ready to do an indoor training workout here today. Now, I wanted to make a short video for you guys today, and in this video, I just wanted to talk to you guys for a few minutes about some of the basics when it comes to bike fit, and some basic principles around that. Now, I mean, I want to start out, in the simplest, way. And, the first thing that you have to understand when it comes to bike fit is that everything you do as a cyclist, from a comfort and performance standpoint, everything you do in cycling starts with having a proper, good, comfortable, efficient, powerful bike fit. So the first thing you have to realize is that having a good fit is truly paramount to having the best experience you can have as a cyclist. Rather you're a casual rider, a bike racer, no matter what your goals are in cycling, it all starts with fit. And to have the most paramount experience, you need to have a good fit. So, what are some of the basics? Now, the first thing you have to really, just accept is that it doesn't matter what your bicycle looks like, okay? Fit is what you feel, okay? Fit is what you feel, not what somebody tells you looks good or what feels good for them, okay? Fit is what you feel, and that's a very individual thing. So, and you have to either, there's a couple options. You can either, figure that, try to figure that out on your own, which is what I have done over the years. I've, basically, I always, fit myself to my bicycles and feel like I've had some pretty good results doing that. Or you can invest, the time and money into working with a fitter, okay? But I'm going to steer this video more towards people who take the approach I took, and that's fitting yourself. So, what are some of the basics? Like I said, you got to start out with, forget about what your bike looks like as far as, how your handlebars and seat is set up. You have to go with what you feel, what feels good for you. Now, a couple of the basics that you want to focus on is when you're riding. And let's face it, on the bicycle you've got 3 main points of contact for your hands on the bike. You've got the tops, you've got your hoods, and of course you got the drops. You got the drops, the hoods, and the tops. Now, if your bike fit is good, you should be able to pretty much rotate back and forth. When you're in your position, like right now, I'm going to get into my, if I was on a ride, like here, right here would be my ride position. Okay, I'm in a ride. Here's my riding position. Now, when your fit's on, you should be able to go from the top, or from the hoods to the tops, down to the drops, and basically have no upper body movement whatsoever. Now, as you guys can see, on my bike here, I can go from the drops to the tops to the hoods and back and forth in any sequence I want. And my upper body basically has no movement, okay? So you need to be able to rotate through the different hand positions without having to, change your upper body movement. If your upper body movement has to change to compensate for any one of those, I would argue your fit is probably not ideal. Now, another thing you want to focus on is when you're in that position, like when you're in the base position, which I call this my base position, hands, on the hoods, I'm down, I'm arrow. You want to have, as you see here, I've got some flex in my arm. My arms aren't like, I'm not, totally rigid straight out. You don't want that. That's going to lead to neck pain, back pain. It's just not efficient. When you're in your riding position, okay, you want to have slack. You want to have bend, slack in your arms. And again, you want to have that in all positions. So from all positions, I've got some slack in my arms. Another thing that you want to focus on when you're doing your own fit. And now as far as like fore aft, I just feel that bike fit is such a personal thing that it's really difficult to give you guys some real solid recommendations there. I always target comfort first. If it feels good for you, it's probably going to work good for you from a fore aft standpoint. So as long as you're comfortable with your fore aft position, which is basically how far forward or back your saddle is, as long as that's comfortable for you, I think that's the most important thing to focus on. And as far as your saddle height, a lot of people, from my own experience riding, especially like in group rides or races, I have found that more people usually have their seat too high than have their seat too low. But ideally, when you're riding, okay, and again, that's also a personal thing, but regardless of how personal that is, you still want that slight bend in your leg at the bottom of the pedal stroke. And I'll cut to a side angle so you guys can see that every time my leg hits the downstroke, or the 6 o'clock position, the downstroke, every time I hit the downstroke, I've got that nice slight bend to my knee. And as you can see, when I'm pedaling, basically you don't want any hip rock. The best way to determine whether or not your seat saddle height is in an ideal position is to just either take a video of yourself or just mentally make observations as you're riding. Are your hips solid on the seat and your sit bones, are your hips solid? If you have a bad seat height, that'll manifest itself in your hips, and you should be able to pick up on that. So there you have it, guys. Just a couple of basic things when it comes to bike fit. I mean, I have spent literally the last 5 years fine-tuning my personal fit. I mean, I've got several bikes. I've been 5 years making micro adjustments to my setups on my different bikes. But those are some of the things that I personally look for and try to address in my bike fit. Hopefully you guys found that informative. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys right back here in my next video. And guys, to that effect, make sure you never let anything stop you from getting your K's in.